In this demonstration, I'm going to be going through the steps on how to log into your computer and ultimately how to get into Canvas, which is on the MyLoyalist portal on the Loyalist website. Canvas is where you will be getting most of your course information, and for me in particular, it's where you will be handing in all of your assignments. So I'm just going to log in right now with my username and password. Okay, and you can either hit enter or click the arrow button once you've typed in your username as well as your password. And I just need to wait now for the computer to connect to the network. And once we arrive at the desktop, I'll explain to you how we can actually get to Canvas. Okay, it's still logging in, but we have reached what is called the desktop. The desktop is basically your tabletop in your computer world. What we have here when you're on the Loyalist computers is a series of icons down the left, and we will see them appear at the bottom. There'll just be a few down here. This one is called the Explorer, where you can go and search for files, and we'll talk about that a bit later. In fact, we'll talk about most of these a bit later. These icons are basically what are called shortcuts. If you see a little arrow beside it, it's a shortcut to the desktop application. These are links to desktop applications. Applications on the desktop are similar to apps on a phone. They all serve a specific purpose and do various kinds of tasks for us and ultimately create files. Now you may have noticed this window popping up while I was talking and hear the chimes. This is an automatic launch for Microsoft Teams. We won't be using it while I'm in the classroom, so if it pops up or when it pops up, just go over to the little X and close it, okay, like I did just there. And I'm just going to close this little window here as well. So as I was saying, we need to get to Canvas through a web browser. Now through all of these icons, you may recognize this as the Google Chrome web browser, one of the most popular browsers currently used, and it's the one we like to use in the classroom. You can get it by double-clicking this shortcut, but let's say it wasn't there. It's always going to be available tucked in with all the apps, which can be found through the Start menu, which is this bottom left icon. And if I click it once, a menu pops up, and alphabetically listed are all the desktop apps that are available to this computer. So I'm just going to go down here and look for Google Chrome under the G's. And let me just scroll back down there. Okay, there it is right there. So when you're launching an application through the Start menu, you just have to click it once you find it, like I did there. And what that will do is it will load the web browser. Now our browsers at the college automatically open with two available links, two tabs to do two different locations. It's the Loyalist College one that we will use to access. Now, in the event that these tabs didn't appear and you just had a blank browser, you can always type in the web address, which is also known as a URL. And our web address for the college is very easy to remember, loyalistcollege.com. You would enter it in the title bar manually, and you could hit your enter key on your keyboard to go to this web page. So this is the home page for Loyalist College, and we want to go to what's called the MyLoyalist portal. A portal is like a little, I'll say it's a little desktop area with all of your college business that you can access via that portal, which is only available to you individually. So I'm going to go over to MyLoyalist in the upper right corner, click on that, and it will ask me to log in. I'm on authentication mode here. I'm just going to say use your password instead. Click down here, and it's going to pop up a login screen. It should appear with your email address, but if it's not there, just type it in manually, your Loyalist email address, and then type in your password, which is the same password you used to log in the first place. So I'm just typing mine in. It's quite a long one. And I click sign in once I've typed in my password. And this gives me permission to get past this point. And now I'm officially in the portal called MyLoyalist. Now there's a lot of stuff in here, and I'm pretty well going to cut to the chase, if you will, get right to what we need to today. But there are a list of tabs up here, as you can see: Home, My Apps, News and Announcements, Events, Staff Directory. And if you scroll down, it's basically like a home page with the news of the day and some features down the right side. What we want to do is we want to go to the My Apps tab, which is where you'll go most of the time. So I'm going to click on My Apps, and it pops open a new window, and it has a series of buttons on it. And if I mouse over them, they do change from blue to red. We're going to go to the one called Canvas, and it may be somewhere else in this list, but just look for the one called Canvas, and that's the one you will click on. Once we are in Canvas, this is your private area, and it will list all the courses you are signed up for as icons, as you can see here. There are other elements down the side here, but I will get into those at a later date as well. To get into your particular course, look for the course name. So for us, it's Computer Essentials. So I'm just going to click on it quickly here just to go in it. And basically this is where all the course material will be derived from, as well as where you will hand in your work. Okay, I'm going to click over, because I'm a teacher, I have a different view. I'm going to click on Student View. This may pop up. It's just a little tutorial. I'm just going to close it and close this one as well. Okay, so again, briefly, we have a column down the left here, the home page. The home page will have recent announcements, and that's actually very important. Under announcements, if there's any news from the teacher or the college, I guess, it will appear here. So always take note of what's at the top in announcements. And there is a button down here for announcements. And if I click it, you will see a list of old announcements from last year. These will be cleared out for you for this semester, but as an example, I can click on here and just see what's in that announcement. Okay, so let me go back to the home page. You will also see your assignments, and there are things called modules, which is sort of a theme, and you may have several assignments within a module. So the module has the Getting Started material, student support documents, etc., as well as all of the different sections. Probably more relevant to you will be assignments, which I'll click on now. And you can see here they are listed. I'm going to just click on one here called Word Practice 1. If I click on it, it's not available right now, but when the course is up and running, you will see anything you need to know about that particular assignment, and it's also where you will hand it in, and you will be prompted to hand it in when this is opened up. So let me just click back on Home. But essentially, for today, this is how you can get in and access the Canvas program in the MyLoyalist portal. Now, when you're done, you can simply close this tab. And you can log out of here, but you can also just close the tab and log out of your computer. You should always log out of your computer before you leave the classroom. Otherwise, other people may have access to your personal material. So it's very important to log out afterwards. So you know what, to be safe, you could go up to this upper corner here and choose Sign Out. Okay, so now I'm signed out. Even if I was logged in as a computer, at least they won't be able to access my Canvas or my Loyalist material. Okay, now to close an application, such as a browser, there are these three symbols up at the top. This one is called Minimize. What it does is it hides it, it docks it down in the bottom, and this is part of this Chrome application. So if I click it, it reopens it. This is for going full screen or floating. Okay, it toggles between the two modes. And finally, the X actually shuts down the application and these windows in the application. That's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to shut down my Google Chrome by clicking on the X. Okay, so that's just a very short story on how to log in, how to launch your web browser, ultimately go to MyLoyalist, and log into Canvas and access your course material. So I'm going to formally log out of my computer now by going into my Start menu, then go up to your name. You can click on there, and you'll see Sign Out. So I'm going to click sign out. And now I'm completely logged out. And again, that's what you should be doing every time before you leave the classroom. And that's our short little lesson on how to access Canvas and log in to our computer as well as MyLoyalist.